Henry David Thoreau's Walden, a guide for the overstimulated soul. You wake up, check your phone, scroll until your mind is numb. Another day lost to the feed. You ache for meaning, but settle for notifications. What if the antidote to your suffering was silence? What if the cure for your chaos was a cabin in the woods? Intro. This is not about escaping the world. It's about coming home to yourself. Henry David Thoreau didn't just walk into the woods to be alone. He went there to remember what it meant to be alive. And you, in a world of algorithms, deadlines, and noise, might need his message now more than ever. Chapter 1. Who was Thoreau? Henry David Thoreau was born in 1817 in Concord, Massachusetts. He was a writer, a rebel, a quiet revolutionary. He studied at Harvard, read the classics, walked in the woods. But Thoreau wasn't interested in achievements. He wanted authenticity. He rejected the idea that life should be a ladder. Climb higher, collect more, compete endlessly. Instead, he asked a dangerous question. What if you simply stepped off the ladder altogether? At 27, he built a one-room cabin beside Walden Pond, not as a stunt, not to trend, but to live deliberately. For 2 years, he studied the seasons, watched ants at war, read ancient texts, and asked, what is life if not felt deeply? Chapter 2. What is Walden? Walden is not a book about the woods. It's a mirror held up to your soul. A slow unraveling of all the ways we forget how to live. Thoreau begins with this truth. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Let that sink in. Quiet desperation. Not loud, not dramatic, just the slow drip of unlived days. You work, you consume, you numb, and call it a life. But beneath the surface, there's a scream. Thoreau heard that scream. So he walked into the forest to silence everything, until only the essential remained. He writes, I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, and see if I could not learn what it had to teach. This was not about minimalism as aesthetic. It was spiritual surgery, cutting away the excess to find the eternal. In Walden, he doesn't tell you how to live. He asks if you're living at all. Chapter 3. What did he discover? He discovered that nature was not outside of him. It was within. That silence is not empty. It's full of truth. That freedom isn't found in money, but in needing less. That wisdom isn't found in degrees, but in observing the dance of water bugs on a pond. He lived off the grid before that phrase existed, not to hide, but to remember. That a simple meal, a quiet mind, and a single, honest sentence could be more revolutionary than any riot. He challenged the cult of busyness, the worship of productivity. He warned that we're so busy building machines that we forget to ask if they're taking us anywhere worth going. Chapter 4. Applying Walden to now. Now look at your life, your calendar, your apps, your endless list of goals. Are you choosing them Or are they choosing you? Thoreau's cabin may be gone, but Walden is still here, waiting for you, in quiet mornings, in unplugged walks, in the sacred act of doing nothing. This isn't nostalgia. This is resistance. In an age of distraction, attention is a revolution. Thoreau reminds you that you don't need more. You need less, but deeper. Fewer friends, but truer ones. Fewer words, but ones that matter. And maybe most of all, more silence. Because it is in the silence that your real voice waits. Chapter 5. The Philosophy Behind the Practice. Thoreau was a transcendentalist. He believed that divinity lives not in churches, but in the beating heart of the natural world. That you are not a cog in a system, but a soul with a purpose. That conformity is the slow death of the self. He lived by principles, not trends. He believed in civil disobedience, in saying no to injustice, in staying true even when alone, especially when alone. Walden is not a how-to manual. It is a soul's declaration of independence, a reminder that freedom is not granted. It is reclaimed by walking away, by waking up, by looking within. Chapter 6. Rhetorical questions to the viewer. So ask yourself, what are you consuming that consumes you back? What parts of your day feel alive, and which parts feel automated? What would you hear if you turned off the noise? What would you find if you walked into the quiet? Do you own your time, or does it own you? Are you awake, or are you just functioning? And if you disappeared into the woods today, what would you learn? What would you lose? What would you finally remember? Chapter 7. Takeaway and closing reflection. Thoreau left Walden after 2 years, not because he failed, but because he had learned what he came to learn. He returned to society with a clearer mind, a deeper soul, a quieter heart. He didn't want everyone to live in the woods. He wanted you to stop living in a fog. The woods were never the point. Waking up was. So maybe you don't need to run away. You just need to pause. Maybe you don't need a cabin. You need stillness. The world you want will not be found in more speed. It will be found in depth, in presence, in the sacred art of slowing, all the way down. Let Walden be your mirror. Let silence be your teacher. And let this question guide you. What would it look like for you to live deliberately? Call to action. If you felt something stir in you today, don't rush to share it. Sit with it. Let it echo. Then act from it. Subscribe, not to this channel, but to yourself.